piece of music is because, in complete contrast to last week's subject of fear, this week we are cuddling up to the lovely subject of change.
Yeah, I think you'll find that some people are very uncomfortable with change.
Oh my goodness, yes, you're so right. It really is a Marmite subject.
Marmite? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. People really love it or hate it.
Yeah, you really don't like it, do you?
No, I love it on toast.
No change.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've made a lot of changes in the course of my life, but I've often had to be pushed into making them. And what about you, Miss Master Plan?
Yeah, well, I have to be honest. Change and me share quite an interesting dance. Sometimes I leap with great abandonment, and other times I drag my feet and cling on for dear life.
Yeah, I've seen some of your interesting dancing.
And you know, it's not just that. Sometimes I make myself get really busy with lots of important stuff, and before I know it, the dance is over before I've even stood up.
Yeah. Well, enough for the dance analogy. When you say important stuff, I'm assuming you mean planning and preparation of resources needed before you take action?
Oh yeah, of course, you know, planning phone calls, creating a filing system, buying new stationery.
Yeah, I like to call that sort of activity paperclip bending. Yeah, time-consuming distractions and zero productivity. You know, resistance strategy.
Yeah, resistance to change is a big subject, and there are so many reasons why we do it.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
And it's pretty inaccurate to refer to change as one subject, actually, because there's changes we want to make, some we can and some actually we can't, and then there's changes we have to make but don't really want to, and changes that are forced on us by others, or some that come about as a result of, I don't know, global events and acts of nature.
Yeah, it's a pretty long list, but to simplify it, maybe we could look at it in terms of controlled and uncontrolled change. So what have our listeners had to say this week?
Well, as you'd expect, some really embrace change. I've had comments like, oh, I fear routine, so I really love change, or change invigorates me. There's another one here, I've always lived by the motto, if you don't enjoy something, do something else.
Yeah, some people have made the distinction between good and bad changes, like a new house or a new car. Yes, I leap at it, but a new job or having to meet new people, I avoid it. I'm worried about uncertainty. Oh, here's another. I hate change. I know sometimes it's good, so I force myself. Uncertainty scares me so much. But if I wake up tomorrow and suddenly become a millionaire, I could get used to that.
See? Marmite.
We've certainly got our work cut out for today.
We do, but I like your idea of breaking it into bite-sized chunks. Controlled change, meaning those changes we implement ourselves, and uncontrolled changes, meaning those that are landed on us, sometimes from a great height.
Okay, so how are we going to do that?
Well, one of our listeners has interestingly provided us with a little scenario that highlights both types of change.
I thought I spotted something up your sleeve.
The lady in question, who also said that she really doesn't like routine, told us that she's the kind of person who likes to sit in a different seat on day 2 of a conference, which sometimes annoys other people as they might see it as their seat from day 1. So in this scenario, you have a controlled change, the person who's chosen to move seats, and uncontrolled change, the person who's lost their seat.
Possibly not the most dramatic of stories.
No, maybe not. Although possession, territory and hierarchy could fill a whole podcast and some.
Which is what you're saying is happening with the seat changing or not changing story.
Essentially, yes, but more to the point...
Oh, not often. You're the one who comes back to the point.
It is today. I've decided to make some changes.
Ooh.
Yes, well, back to the point. The seat-changing scenario, forgetting for now the reasons why this can be an issue for some people, simply shows 2 different perspectives on change, controlled and uncontrolled. Other examples of controlled versus uncontrolled might be Moving house, a controlled move, might be just because you want to live somewhere else, or it could be forced on you by changes in income, location of work, or family circumstances.
Yeah, I guess the same can be said for changing jobs. Sometimes people change jobs because they like to keep moving. Others change jobs when they are forced to through redundancy or other external circumstances.
Yeah, or even relationships could change in a way you want them to over time, or the opposite can happen because of unavoidable changes either in yourself or the other person. Someone mentioned in the comments about suddenly coming into a large amount of money, like a lottery win or something. And yet, many people who do experience this struggle with the unexpected consequences of such a major change in their day to day lives that they hadn't really had any control over.
Actually, while it might sound like a nice problem to have, to many people it's the sudden uncontrolled change that can be such a shock to the system.
It is, but even that shock to the system, in a funny way, is a form of resistance. The anxiety over the changed circumstances, for some reason, is overriding the ability to simply accept and adapt. Change, controlled or otherwise, is in itself a threat to our fight or flight mechanism, which is why we have a tendency to resist it in one way or another. And recognising this can be really useful. When we feel very comfortable in who we are and where we sit in terms of our society, we will generally cope much better with change, both those directed by us and those heaped unceremoniously onto us, much better than when we are already feeling vulnerable.
So clearly we've got a juxtaposition here. How can we help people with all these different issues around the subject of change?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that.
Yeah, I can see that. Look, it's written in the script.
Because I have quite a clever worksheet that deals with all aspects of change, whether you're trying to get over a resistance to it or coping with changes outside your control. But first, you are going to tell us all about visualization and how this can help with controlled and uncontrolled changes.
Okay, so vulnerability can affect our attitude to changing circumstances, and this is often because we feel disconnected or anxious in some way about the outcome. So don't do this exercise at home if you're driving, operating machinery, carrying children, I don't know. Going to be a risk to life and limb by closing your eyes at this moment.
Control's over to you, my friend.
Okay, as always, make sure you're in a safe and comfortable place and close your eyes and listen to my voice. So the scenario we're going to imagine is the scenario of changing workplace or changing job, and it can be voluntary or it can be forced upon you, controlled or uncontrolled, as we discussed. And the idea around visualization is to actually visualize the outcome, the positive outcome, to allow your subconscious to actually ease you from one transition to another, knowing that the outcome is going to be positive and helpful. So for the job scenario, what we would do would be just to relax and take yourself forward in time to at least a month after you start the new job. At the end of that month, look back and reflect on how much you've enjoyed the new job, the new challenges, how you're comfortable in the environment, the new people you've met who are exciting, friendly, supportive, the money you've made, the journey, even looking at how you've been getting up earlier in the morning because you've been so excited to get to work early and get started with the new challenges. That is a picture you need to reinforce in your head. Put any other things around that subject into that picture. How much you enjoy the new comfortable chair, how the view from the window is sunnier and brighter than from your old window. The people you're working with, how much friendly they are, even how nice your sandwiches taste when you sit there lunchtime. reinforce this picture with as many optimistic things you can find to think about. How great that scenario would be. Make it ideal for you. And then maybe take yourself back to the start of your first week and imagine how comfortable you felt when you first started there. How the people were all supportive and friendly. How they showed you to your new desk. How you met so many nice new people and worked your way around the building, laughing and joking with other members of staff. And then maybe take yourself back to when you received that envelope that told you you'd got the new job. How excited you felt. How all the disappointments of your old job now were a long way behind you. And then take yourself back to possibly the interview. Coming out of the interview, how you did so well and you felt really confident. You smiled all the way home at how well you'd performed. And then maybe take yourself back to just before the interview, looking in the mirror, looking good, feeling confident. And then taking yourself back to finding this new job, to looking at all the opportunities and selecting the one that you had a good feeling about. Now from these thoughts and this visualization, what you've done is built that positive future, a future that's ideal for you. And that could be where you're going. That is where you're going. As you believe that, your subconscious will believe it and will help you relax into all those situations. Relax looking for a job, relax going to an interview, relaxed starting your first day, relaxed by the end of the first month, knowing how well you've done and all the things you've achieved. And really, it's just as simple as that.
Oh wow, yeah, that's brilliant. I like that. In fact, if anyone wants to go through that again, I'm going to be putting a recording on the website so you can access it again whenever you like. Okay, so now the next step is to complete my worksheet that I'd really quite like to do live on air. Well, I say live on air. This is a recording, obviously, so feel free to pop me on pause and go grab a glass of water and a pen and paper, and I'll see you back here in a sec. Okay, so this worksheet focuses on identifying what changes you have control over, which ones you don't, and what you can do about either of them.
Okay.
Take your piece of paper and fold it into 4 sections. And then write in the 4 headings, which are things I can't change, things I can change, changes that will take time, and actions I can take each day.
Okay, got that.
Okay, so there are some ground rules. Firstly, you need to really focus on the fact that there are some things you cannot change, and those things are other people or anything that has already happened, as well as anything that is controlled by someone or something else, such as the weather, legislation, technological changes.
It's easy for you to say.
But you can change any thought, feeling or action of your own, including being able to say technological, which you can if you slow down and practice. Okay, so for this worksheet to be really useful to you, you've got to be specific. I've used the conference seat example firstly, and so the first person who likes to change seats might be inclined to write under the box things I can't change, being at this conference for 2 days. That would be a reasonable thing to write, except it's not true. It might not be a good career move to duck out of the conference, but in reality, if she really wanted to change it, she could just not attend. So it's within her power to change that. Whereas what she can't change is that the organisers of the conference have arranged it over 2 days. That is outside of her control. Likewise, person B can't change the fact that someone else is sitting in the seat she wanted to sit in. It's already happened, and it involves the actions of another person. And person B has no jurisdiction over person A's actions, or no control. So if you were going to use this form for something like that, it might go something like this. Person A might write in under things I can't change, this conference runs over 2 days, and under things I can change, I could sit somewhere different. Whereas person B might put under things I can't change, the person who's sitting in the seat I was sitting in yesterday, because that you can't physically change.
Yep.
But then they've got choices under things they could change. They could ask them to move, they could choose to sit somewhere else, or they could choose not to feel uncomfortable about the situation. So I'm trying to show what really you can't change and actually what you can change, which is mostly yourself.
Okay, well that's the first 2 boxes.
Mm.
What about the other 2 boxes?
Okay, so I've actually gone for the job scenario, which we can return to here. And again, just to highlight the box things I can't change, is we've got somebody who doesn't like their job. They need to have a job because they've got bills to pay. So under the box things I can't change, the first thing they wrote was my job. Now that's not actually true. It might be sensible not to change your job,
right,
but it isn't impossible.
Yeah.
It can be changed. So you have to cross that one out. And then it might be, the way I feel about my job. Well, that's not true either, that can be changed.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, the problem this person has with their job is their boss in this example.
Okay.
So what you would write in there is my boss's behaviour towards me, because you have no control over that.
So you recognise that, and by recognising it, you take some power out of it.
Yes. So a really nice way of using this worksheet is to put down the first thing that comes to mind and then question whether it's actually something you can change or not. That helps you identify the real issue.
Okay.
Okay. So under things I can change, the person with the job can change the way they feel about their job. They can physically change their job for something else, and they can change their attitude towards their job. So now you've got things under the first 2 boxes.
Okay.
The next 2 boxes are changes that will take time and actions I can take each day. The changes that will take time, I've actually repeated the 3 examples at the top of the list that I've already said. The way I feel about my job, my attitude towards my job. Because whilst you can change them today, you can continue to change them, and those changes might take some time.
Okay.
Underneath that, I've also written finding a new job, working my notice, improving my knowledge and qualifications, and changing my career path.
Okay.
So in that way, by doing that exercise, you have identified steps along the way and things you can do for yourself over a period of time that moves you towards that goal.
Okay, and you've recognised that those things are going to take time, so you've taken some of the pressure out of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And so in the last box, we've got actions I can take each day, and it's really worth filling this out because it will keep you on track. You can look at it and think, have I done that today?
This is the discipline box.
This is the discipline box. Well spotted. So, for this example, I've written looking at job vacancies, looking at and maybe doing any additional training, personal development exercises. So if you've got to work on the way you feel about your current job, then do some personal development exercises, do some visualizations. You might want to do some tapping, you might want to do some stress management.
And just make yourself do those every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then of course there's things like seeking third-party help. And when you're looking for a new job or you've got a problem at work, that might mean contacting your HR department or a recruitment specialist or a career advisor. And those are things that you can do to move forward.
And though you can't change your boss's attitude to you necessarily, you can consciously change a reaction to your boss.
Absolutely.
So that has less effect on you.
Absolutely. Okay, so now it's your turn. Write at the very top of your sheet what the issue is that you're struggling to deal with. So that could be work related, family related, relationship related, whatever the issue is that you're struggling with that has changed or you want to change, write that at the top of the sheet. Then write in the first box, the one labelled things I can't change, what it is you can't change about that issue. And remember, you only write in here things that are actually outside of your control.
Okay.
Okay? In the next box, write the things that you can change that will help you with this issue. Now, these are usually things about the way you feel and react to the situation. What actions you can begin to take to make a difference. It might be deciding you're going to look for a new job, or having a conversation with someone you're having a difficult relationship with, or it might be that you're going to do some research on a particular topic that you need to know a bit more about to move yourself forward. Then in the third box, I want you to write down things that you can change, but those changes will sometimes occur over a longer period of time. Now, this might seem a little bit repetitive, but the point in this is that you're highlighting those things that aren't going to happen overnight. And when you refer back to this sheet, that will be quite comforting because, such and such didn't happen overnight, but actually I do recognise it might make time for that to change.
So you could have the same things in there as you've got in the things I can change box.
Yes, the idea is that you, in this box about taking time, you list things that you know aren't going to change overnight. Okay? And then in the last box, you're just going to write down some actions of things you can do each day to move you forwards.
Okay. So again, you can repeat some of the things that are in the things I can change box.
Yes, if they're things that can be done on make them a daily task. Okay. Or there might be other daily tasks that would move you towards that goal. Okay. Right. So, having written your answers in these boxes, the idea is that you hang on to your piece of paper, put it somewhere where you'll see it every day so you can refer back to it. You can add to it, or you can just look it up, you can cross things off to show your progress. The purpose of it is to keep you focused. Keep looking at it, keep referring back to it is likely to improve the way you feel because you'll be starting to take back control. And also it gives you those short practical steps to help you either make the changes you need to or to help you understand something that's changed beyond your control.
Excellent. Now I know we always say to stay in touch and let us know what you're thinking, but this would be a good time to actually do it, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I'm very happy to answer any questions via email, Facebook, on my page or via Messenger. There's also a quick question form on the website that will come straight through to me if you have any questions, or indeed if you have any feedback on either the worksheet or the visualisation. Progress is in everyone's grasp. Whatever challenges we are faced with, it takes a little bit of calm, assessment of the situation and a forward plan. I hope that's what we've shared with you today.
Yep, go on then, Tracy. Repeat the contact details as usual.
Okay, so you can track us down on our website, www.mindandbodyworks, spelt with an X.com. You can also email us, mail, MAIL, at mindandbodyworks.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Again, Mind and Body Works with the X.
Great stuff. All right. So now it's time for me to make a change. I'm going to make a change by going and making a cup of tea.
And I'm going to join you.
Lovely. See you next time.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back same time, 12 o'clock next Friday. In the meantime, stay safe and well. Bye for now.